Hello and warm welcome, the audience, to New Generation Women. And I'm Janine van Zenos with part 2 of this strong, powerful talk show with NEDA BOIN from the Netherlands, Rotterdam. She's a singer and songwriter, and she transformed big time. And you have to listen to the first part if you haven't done that yet. So please listen to that, and then we come back to the second part, because now it's getting deep. Having said this, one of my favorite songs that I have heard of NEDA is Beneath You're Beautiful, when she participated in The Voice of Holland 2015. Let's see.
Makes you feel good, don't it? I know you're out of my league, but that won't scare me away, oh no. That a lot of times I think that we try to skip feeling uncomfortable and we instantly trying to go to Spirit, help me to see this differently, and I think that's where voice liberation comes in so wonderfully, because it actually says, okay, pause, you're feeling this. First of all, is it okay? Is it okay that you feel this? Is it okay that you don't feel fully happy right now? Can you just allow this to come up instead of trying to get rid of it? Because again, that tendency to trying to get rid of it already makes the it real.
Yes.
The spirit doesn't, you say I'm not enlightened yet. You are actually, that's what the spirit is coming back to constantly, is that you're already there, and that the true task for us is to accept. The Course constantly says that to accept the atonement, and the atonement just means accept that you're innocent, accept that you are perfect love, accept that God is perfect love. I know I had so much struggles with the word God and everything as well.
Me too. Oh, me
but
too,
even
yeah.
that, if you say, it's not practical, that is super practical. That comes up. Again, if there's anything that people take from this, is use everything. Use everything. Don't let anything. I know people are now in recycling and in sustainable. Recycle everything that comes up for you. Don't throw anything away. Don't throw anything away. Use it. Okay, I'm reading this book. I notice I have struggle with when I read the word God. Okay, use it. What does it mean? What is underneath of this? I finally get in touch with my authority problem, or I finally get in touch with all of these terrible things that are associated to this, and the guilt that is underneath that, and so it's so practical when we start to not dismiss anything, but just say okay, this is actually what it's for, rather than what we normally use is, oh, I feel uncomfortable, I'm gonna put it away. Now it's oh, I feel uncomfortable, interesting. Let's look at it, and we can afford ourselves that playfulness, knowing that let's start at the end, is that we're already there. That's there's this whole part in the Course about the happy student, and that the happy student can afford himself to be happy, because a happy student does not have to feel guilty for learning, and it can be happy because you already graduated. I always say that at the beginning of my voice liberation workshops, to say, okay, it's already done, you're just showing up here. You walk into the school, it's your first day, and you're graduated. You get your diploma. That's how it is here. And
yes, okay, get you. Yes, that's a great picture.
Of, okay,
yes.
First of all, we're already there. We're already enlightened. The Course says, enlightenment is not a change at all. It is merely a recognition. Those who seek the light are merely covering their eyes.
It's such a great picture. Sorry to say, it's such a great picture what you said. You come and you get already your you can start with your graduation speech, so you can relax about the journey. I love that. I mean, that is how awesome would that be if the world would function this way? You have already your test. It's
Yeah, a
done. And
journey without distance.
that,
You're already there. You're
and
already
that
there.
is such a great reminder. And Abraham also is also, an approach of becoming more consciousness. Said very often, it's already done. It's done. It's
Yeah.
done. It's done. And I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Sometimes I'm listening to it on and on again to say myself, it's already done,
Yeah.
done, done. Two things I would like to ask. This turns out so different. This interview. I had such a different agenda for this one. But we go
The
with this.
spirit always laughs when we start
Yes, I
planning. I
know,
said,
I
why
know.
you're
Was the
planning?
laugh? I
Why you're
said, "Who's
planning?
laughing?"
Don't
There was
plan.
Spirit's laughter when I was just laughing. I said, "Who's laughing?" Actually, that's not my laughter. That was Spirit's laughter. One thing in Take Me Home, which is a beautiful movie, guys, a documentary of Frances Zhu, first-time director at this movie, had no clue about it. She thought she's a cheerleader or assistant of the director. When a day before she started shooting, she heard, no, no, you're the director, the film director. So that also came out of the moment and of true guidance. And I love that so much. So you guys are really inspiration for true guidance, how beauty can come out of that and how we can drop that fear and that stress of always thinking we're having to do it. So how much stress we could just release by this one. Coming back to one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when you sit down with Zoran and he has such a hard time to trust her. Now he's a man of 35 years of TV experiences, while there's a young woman who has absolutely no experience, is a film director, and he's supposed to follow her.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff is coming up. I said always to
I
Francis,
love that part too.
yeah, can you think about this? You're a leader, you're a young woman. He's like an older generation man, where men are still in a patriarchal system and leading, and he comes with all this film and television experiences, and you have none, and he has to follow you. I mean, who wouldn't be pissed, to say it frankly? And he couldn't trust her. So what I loved so much, and you guys are so wonderfully dancing together this, what I loved so much is that you didn't say, oh, it's bad not to trust, or give it an effort, or, this is just ego. You said right away, yeah, you don't trust her. You don't trust her. Say it, sing it out. And then your voice liberation came in while you sing. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody cannot sing. And but you
Yeah.
made it so easy. Would have felt so ashamed with just starting to sing, but he had to sing it and scream it and say it out loud in all kinds of tones. I don't trust you. So that was the truth. That was the
Yeah.
absolute
That
truth.
was
He didn't have
honest.
to
That was
hide
honest
it.
in that moment
He
for
didn't
him.
have to fix it. You wouldn't
Yeah.
say to him, that's really bad, Zoran. You should get over that by now. You're too old to still get sick. You didn't say that. You just took that and said, Rawley, just get it out. And I think that is a real beauty also. I'm sure that in your voice liberation, I have
Yeah.
to attend at one point. That is really beautiful to say things out as they are. And that is also the beauty of it, to take it and work with it. Now I see myself, and then we go to the second part. For instance, Eckhart Tolle has a different approach. He rather says you're the witness of it. You don't make it big, your witness is. Another approach is of Eli Jackson Bear, who is very strong in the Enneagram and Satsang. They say, yes, you feel the feeling, just don't make it a bigger story. This has really helped me to don't go into the story and the spiral.
Right.
And Abraham talks more about, so that makes you, what is the next best feeling thought? And I think sometimes they are try to fix and immediately go to a next best feeling thought, which is not the one that you're talking about. But what really helped me is not making such a story out of that and go into
Yeah.
drama
Yeah,
and
to not
go
make
into the
make
poor
make it
one,
real. I think
not make
that's
it
the
real.
translation from the chorus is that we'll witness it, but we'll get back to remembering that we're the dreamer of the dream, and that everything we're perceiving in life, our
Yes.
relationship and everything, are actually dream figures. Like Ken Wapnick always says, oh, finally, I love that image too, that when you sleep at night and you dream a dream, everything looks so real. Now, let's
Mm-hmm.
say that I last night had a dream about you where maybe you hit me or did something to me, and now I
Mm-hmm.
would come on this call and say, Jenny, why did you hit me? I'm so angry with you, and why did you hit
Mm-hmm.
me? I'm gonna hit you back when I see you. And you'll be like, what is this girl talking about? Like, I wasn't there, it was in my dream. So it's always getting back to, okay, remember that you're the dreamer of the dream, and that whatever I'm seeing outside of myself is a projection of my own mind. And like, just to repeat, because repetition is always so important. Again, we can't use it when we're fully in that feeling. We have to be honest. And I think that scene with Soren was so powerful with that, because we did start with, I want to trust. And you hear that it just, the voice is so naked. You hear that it doesn't sound well. It doesn't, you feel like this is not in, it's not working. I want to trust. And you feel like, no, this is not it. You can feel it. That's what I love about the voice, is that it's so naked and it gives anything away. It gives everything away. And then I heard, like, have him say, I don't trust. And this was one of the first times I was actually doing these voice liberation sessions. I actually came there. I didn't even know they were shooting a documentary. Like, for me, everything was
Nobody
also,
knew.
we were all just called, you know, and it all just divine timing. And I was first like, I can't let him say that, you know. I had the same thing that you said. I actually did have that moment where I can tell him to not, you know, I don't trust, and that's inappropriate. And it was very clear, like, have him sing, I don't trust. And so, you know, and you see in the movie, the moment that he said that, he lit up, because, and it sounded right. It sounded like, yes, this is honest. And that's what we have to get to. Not say like, oh, this is all an illusion, this is all a dream. But the moment we're fully honest, and we say, but this is how I feel right now. From the purpose of not trying to make a drama and say like, oh, I'm such a victim and I don't trust. And no, we're just honestly expressing, this is how I feel right now. I don't trust. And you see the transformation in that session. We go from I don't trust to, at the end, that there's pure joy. We have so much fun. I don't trust. And this is exactly what happens. So when we're being honest about the darkness we perceive as real, the moment we express it and we hand it over to the spirit, we express it with the purpose of it being healed. Like we said in the beginning, underneath that darkness is light. So once we express that darkness that seems so real, we express our fears, we give space to that which seems so hurtful. What is at the other end of it is joy. And it has the space again to shine. And laughter and joy can come through again. And this doesn't have to always happen like that. So like you're saying, like, why I'm saying like replace this, and it doesn't happen, like, because it's still, sometimes it can come from, okay, now it has to happen, like, spirit replaces for me. And, you know, there's not actually a true release of that feeling that is there. You're not actually honestly looking at it and honestly giving it the space that it's asking for. Instead, we're just like trying to make it like a little tool so that we can continue with our lives, right? It's like, okay, spirit, I'm having a dark, okay, you do this, and then I can go on to this meeting because I have this, you know?
That is so true. That is great what you say, because that's also, I always wanted to, you know, not always, since I know you since a few months, and I've seen you with this beautiful song, Take Me Home. I love that song. I got to know you the first time, it was Christmas. And I heard that, and I had this interview with Frances, which also totally went different. And she was kind of astonished when I said on the spot, I will do a different interview, Frances, don't worry, it's going to be healing loneliness. And that was Christmas time. It was a beautiful song because I was inspired by your song. I was listening, I was doing my makeup for the webcam, and then the whole topic turned around, and I talked with her about that one. Beautiful. But what you say, and since then I always thought I would love to do something in businesses with you, because people, since I've been working there, nothing has changed. It got worse with all the programs they have, all the money they spend on people development, on leadership development. The crisis has never been so strong, because it's all a mental concept. And they are so afraid, they are so trained to function, to perform, they are so afraid to show emotions. Maybe that's why I'm always there, because I'm so emotional and such a, you know, paradise bird for them. But there's one thing with this power of honesty, when you really express your emotion, like Soren did, people don't judge you, and that is amazing. We are so quick to judgmental thoughts. We're so quick to judge anybody. But the minute somebody is in his truth or her truth, express him or herself, absolutely everybody gets still. And that has, I mean, I know that my mentor said once to me, "You are terror for them. You are terror," because I really literally mean it when I say the power of honesty and I literally go in that. But also, like you, I have a very funny way also to do this sometimes. And when they are standing in that fire of expressing themselves, I've seen that other people who have been very judgmental have just compassion.
Yeah.
And that seems to be an underneath knowing, this oneness that we are so longing for, and that we feel as if we are so far away from it when we look into the world and into the news. This oneness is immediately there, like in an
Yeah.
instant it is there. Not because somebody was perfect, not because somebody achieved, not because somebody we would look up to. That's normally when we feel very lonely. It's in this second when somebody drops into his honest feeling that we feel all connected, that we feel compassion. And I could just weep. It just really always
Yeah.
makes me like so emotional seeing that how
Mm.
quickly things are changing. And as you said, there is this journey without distance. I know I knew it that we didn't make it beyond an hour, and we are way over the hour. And I there, these are all my notes that I still had, to ask you, but I'm not. I think this has to be continued in which form ever.
Sure.
I will also tease you with a wonderful video that I was supposed to show in this talk show where Neda is singing about the voice or in the voice of Holland. She was with the last 8 contestants. It was 2015. You're right. I said 60 and 70. 2006, you won first song contest. 2007, you went to Kenya. 2008, you went to India. And then a few years later, I did my homework.
Wow,
So
you know
having to
better than
correct.
I do.
Yeah, that's what mostly also happens with me. But that to make that life that because I was so intrigued by how you stepped away from that fame. There was this, I think, this opening of the voice in Holland. 4 judges turned their chairs towards you. You have, and we will show this also in the talk show afterwards. The talk show, you have this amazing performance quality. The
Mm.
camera just adores you, and you know how to play with that, and you have this incredible voice. So somebody seeing you 2015 would say, Hollywood doors are open. Hollywood doors are really open because you bring the whole package.
Mm.
Simon Cowell, who does the audition talk shows, Britain's Got Talent, X Factor in America and in UK, he would say you have got the whole package. He would say, this is why we do the auditions for, to have a person like you. And
Right.
then you made the decision. So just have this as the end of the talk show. You made this decision to do an album, which is Into the Light, I think. That's the latest
The light
album.
has come.
The light has come. Yes, the light has come. I mean, it's the same, isn't it? Light has come, into the light, graduation, it's done already. So just go. That is the one page space or the one point you want to make is the light is real. Um, you turned away. You turned to something that is not as sexy as The Voice, that is not as liked by millions of people as The Voice of Holland, that is not as famous. You turn to God, like where most people who are not in A Course America say, "Oh, and you don't get all those likes maybe anymore." You
Yeah.
so. How do you feel now about making this decision? How do you feel now in doing this path? What has changed when you did this path of going towards fame, where you have the
Right.
full package? I mean, it's everything there, and you
Right.
make you didn't have an accident. You make your own free will choice to turn to God and make
Yeah.
not so sexy content of text, which
I love how
which is
you say that.
heavy,
Not so sexy. I know,
but
yeah, God is not so sexy, no.
God is not so sexy, and spirit, and it's not so sexy, but you do it in a very sexy, wonderful way. I only hear your voice was actually also the video that I wanted to show. Shit, I said this video is gone because I had prepared that one to show, and I shit. Um, no, but it's a beautiful, beautiful video of you. So, how do you feel finally coming to the end of this question? Working now
Yeah.
with maybe less fame for now compared to working in the voice state.
Right. Well, it has different stages. I think with every journey
Mm-hmm.
we comment like, oh, this is a new chapter, this is a new chapter, this is a new chapter. And I think
Mm-hmm.
this question that you're asking has different chapters in it as well, because I think then I have to go back a little bit before the voice, at the time where these songs came through, because the songs that are on my album The Light Has Come were all channeled in just 2 weeks.
Wow.
Indeed, they weren't so sexy, and at that
Mm-hmm.
time I was also still having so much allergies towards the words God. But I tell about this in a mini documentary on YouTube, where it just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
happened that I felt like I was just dragged towards the piano by like an invisible chord, and I just
Mm-hmm.
started playing, and within half an hour that was a full song. Let me remember I'm one with God. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what the F is this? But
Mm-hmm.
at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it was so beautiful. I felt that it came from such a deep source. I was
Mm-hmm.
very deeply touched. As I was writing it, I was crying. But also I was like, what, I'm not gonna do anything with this, but okay. And this continued to happen for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
every day, sometimes even 2 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a whole stack of songs, all with lyrics coming from workbook lessons from A Course in Miracles. And like you said, the Course in Miracles, it has the Christian terminology. It's not religious at all. In fact, I think, if a true Christian that believes in sacrifice and that we need to, see Jesus as sacrificing his life for us,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
everything goes against that.
He's
Um,
so bored to be on the cross. I've heard that he's so bored. Get him off the cross.
Yeah, get him off the cross.
Get him off the cross.
It's about the resurrection. It's actually the whole message of the crucifixion. It's a beautiful chapter in the course, the message of
Mm-hmm.
the crucifixion, where he actually talks that it was never about the crucifixion. It was about the
Mm-hmm.
resurrection. It was
Mm-hmm.
about showing that the body is not real, and to teach only love, and that no matter how much you think that you've been treated unfairly, there's nothing in this world that can actually affect
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a whole different podcast. But
Yes.
but so these all of these songs came through, and at that time when they came through, I was on that road to success. I just became the ambassador of music in Rotterdam. I won like a 17,500 euro prize that
Mm-hmm.
I can make my EP with. I had a good relationship. Everything. It was the course was in my life, but it wasn't. It. Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself like the singer for God spirit that I was now. I was still writing positive songs, so it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
totally different. But my mind state was definitely there of like, okay, the purpose of making music is, to break through and become a commercial artist. So these songs definitely didn't fit
Mm-hmm.
into that idea. Now, at the time when The Voice came in my life, I already got asked to participate at The Voice many times before, because they're always
Mm-hmm.
scouting for talents.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's all set up, of course. It's a whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
TV, and it's yeah. That's again a whole different story. That's not important to go in. But I got asked for it many times already. I always said no, but at this time I felt yes. I feel inspired to go and do this. When I was finally in the live shows, not even the audition, but in the
Mm-hmm.
live shows, my entire personal life was on the floor. It
Mm-hmm.
started with my favorite uncle that just died so quickly within 6 months. And he was married to my sweetest, sweetest aunt, who I always said, like, if you look in the dictionary and you look up love, you'll see her.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have children. We were really her children, and they were
Mm-hmm.
just so loving, always together from when they were 15 years old. And I remember just my mind, it was just like exploded that I saw them not being together anymore. Like it
Mm-hmm.
really triggered that, like, oh my God, like the separation, like
Mm-hmm.
how can this be? How
Mm-hmm.
can it just, my brain stopped functioning. I was like, how can
Mm-hmm.
this, like if the sky wasn't there anymore, if you just woke up and the sun was gone, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what? We've always had the sun. So it was like that for me. It just blew my mind, and with that, it was like a domino effect. I started to doubt everything. Like all of a sudden it felt like, if this is not certain, then what else isn't certain? You know, I still saw that I had very much invested in the world being real and my life being steady, and like everything was just like a house of cards just falling apart. My relationship as well, everything that I just felt certain of, it was uncertain. And I was live on television at that moment. So it was like, for the outside world,
Oh my God.
it looked as though, yeah, I was even bigger in my success, but inside, there was a part that was like doubting everything, you know? It's like, what is the purpose? Why am I here? And what's going on? And I just remember when I was standing there, it was I think one of the last live shows, maybe the second last live show, and the judges were giving me feedback after my performance, and I was standing there in this big, expensive dress, and I just remember thinking, like, I have an album at home, which the only purpose of that album is to extend love. And I was in a show, I saw that world of that commercial music. I saw that, to me, it didn't have that fulfilling purpose. It didn't feel like, okay, the choices that are being made here, the purpose of it is to extend the love of God. You know, the purpose I saw was to make the most money, or to get the most votes, to get the most views. Like everything had that purpose underneath of it, that side agenda. But I remember that album that I was so afraid of bringing out didn't have a side agenda at all. Its sole purpose was to extend the love of God and to help people that are on the path of remembering who they are. And I just knew in that moment, like, I have to just bring out that album. Like it's time. Because again, like, it might seem again like, oh yeah, I'm doing this for the world. I needed that because my whole world was crushed, and I actually needed this project for my own mind to heal from everything that was going on in my life. And that's also what happened, because these songs really, really, really pulled me through so many things that were going on for me. And before I was able, you see this in the documentary as well, that before I was able to record them, I had to really experience the teachings of these songs on a very deep level, and there was just so much healing. So that was that first part of like, okay, I'm surrendering to this project. But there was still a lot of guilt. There was, of course, like you say, I just come out of this commercial vibe. People are now waiting, like, okay, what's she gonna come out with now, right? Okay, she's gonna surf on this wave of you know, the success that she's having right now. And then I come out, like you say, with this like sort of like godly, not so sexy album that has, I was even thinking on that today, that I still see that I try to cover up something. Like the last song is called Nothing Else on the album. I think actually now looking back, it would have been better to call it God is Only Love, because that's the chorus. God is only love, and therefore so am I can be nothing else. But just because I still had that of like, okay, let's try to cut out the God as much as possible.
Yeah, I know
like,
that one.
some of these songs I just couldn't, so it still has that God is in my mind. God is the love in which I forgive. I want the peace of God. I feel the love of God. God is with me. I was like, oh, you know, it's already enough, God. Let me take it out, you know. So even though I was surrendering to my part in that, it still very much felt as though I was sacrificing something to do it. Like I was being called, and now I need to sacrifice my own will. And, you know, I had so big dreams, and now I have to sacrifice that for serving God or something like that. So that was a chapter. And then the next chapter was actually not so long ago, where I realized, like, looking back and seeing, like, what did I actually sacrifice? What did I gain? You know, the thing that I sacrificed was actually fear. You know, the thing that I sacrificed actually wasn't so beautiful at all, you know, and the thing that I gained now, that purpose that I feel in my heart, the places that I get asked for now to perform, the feeling of abundance, of knowing that I work for love, I work for this goddess, for God, for spirit, for extending that love. That is like the highest joy actually I can feel and experience. So now I'm actually being drawn into a next chapter where I'm again like, okay, this can be seen. I'm open now. I'm open again for, you see, again, because it's not bad to be famous. It's not bad to be in the spotlight. It's not bad to be in the light. So I feel I'm there now where I'm like, okay, the world is ready for this. The world can see this. Also the next album, like these are such beautiful songs. I know there are so many hearts that are open to hear this. They don't know it yet. But I'm ready to step into the light. So this is actually again a next phase where I'm fully open to be seen. I'm fully open for the having more views, having more people's hearts to open for this, but from a different purpose. Again, it's not
No,
from
I think it's so important that you say it in this time from a different
yeah,
purpose, because purpose is so famous. Everybody wants to work with purpose. And then
yeah,
if it's getting, and as you said about it getting commercial, then of course the purpose gets another tool for the ego to jump with that. And
yeah,
I went back for the last month, also because during Corona time I couldn't do what I normally do, and it took the summer to work on my website. I knew it was a burst for myself, and really working on how do I want, how to position myself and feel into that and bring that into life. And then I always have such a hard time because all those commercial, to me, not so meaningful ways of marketing, I just couldn't go there.
yeah,
And then just yesterday, I felt like I'm really integer about this. I'm really fully believing into womanhood and coming together and doing something beautiful together as, a circle of women where we might not have men who are standing on the top of the mountain and are the gurus of the world, but we are circles of women who transport a message. And that's, adding on to that and has a very new quality. I'm so convinced about that, to do something beautiful with those women together, that I could see this purity in there, and I could see, okay, now I can allow to go out again, like you. I can go and use all my skills, but it's for a different, the purpose feels deeper.
right,
And I think that is, it's not you go out and you want to be liked and loved and appreciated. Of course, you love it when you get your likes, and you love it when you, but for me, the purpose is not I am great. The purpose is we get together, the real
yeah,
audience and me.
yeah,
We have a receive and a circle of receive and give. We get together so that we can uplift the
right,
emotion. And that is very, very different and
beautiful.
doesn't feel so lonely also.
Yeah, and really, there's nothing in form that we can say, oh, this is from the spirit, this is from the ego. You know, the spirit can use anything, even those commercial marketing strategies given to the spirit. Who knows, they might come in hand, but the purpose underneath of it is always that we can check, like, okay, why am I doing this? Because from the ego, we're coming from lack, we're coming from I am missing something, and I need something from someone else to feel that completion, so it's always coming from lack, from guilt, from needing something, from fear, where the spirit in us, when we come from inspiration, no matter what we use, even if we use the most, what we see, the most commercial thing, even going on The Voice can be, that was
Yes,
guided for me as well.
yes.
There's nothing wrong. I always feel that's also so important to say, that we don't get that spiritual ego of, oh yeah, that is
Yeah,
not
that's true.
spiritual, like
Yes.
there is not such a thing as not spiritual or spiritual. It's just, what are we using it for? And the spirit is just using whatever is in the world, is just using it for the purpose of healing, for extending the love of God. And that's very different than, okay, now I want to have my business, and I'm gonna use the spirit to make my business grow. Again, that's also different. Trying to pull God into this world, trying to have like a spiritual business, or trying to, it's not about that neither. It's not about trying to make this world, again, like trying to make your life better, or trying to make this world a better place, or trying to spiritually grow rich. It's we really want to wake up from the dream, not make it better. Like if you're inside of a prison, you can really make that prison beautiful and paint the walls. But in the end, if you're in prison, I
You're
rather want to go
imprisoned.
out of prison. You know, you're
Yes.
still in prison. So an
Yes.
illusion is an illusion is an illusion. But when we forgive, you know, when we use everything that comes up and everything that upsets us, and we use it to undo those blocks to the love that we truly are, to that peace, that joy that we truly are, the automatic side effect is that we're going to feel more joyful. We're going to feel more loving. We're going to see more and more everyone around us as just innocent. So yeah, the life does get better, but it's different than when we go from, okay, I'm lacking and I need my life to get better, so I'm gonna use now these spiritual tools to try to make it better. And then again, also the other way of like, oh, I'm spiritual, now I can use these tools. I can't do that because that's not spiritual. You know, there's this, it's none of that. It's just with everything knowing like, okay, I am already complete. I'm whole. God is a strength in which I trust. What would you have me do? You know, because in the end, there are so many people who don't know this, and the world needs the miracle workers to remember, to wake up, even though we've already all woken up, you know, but still within this dream, it does seem as that's not the case. And we can just show up, you know, we can just remember like, okay, spirit, where would you have me go? And you have dance skills. Do you want to use that? You have music skills. Do you want to use that? Maybe whatever skill you have, you're a good listener, or maybe something else that all of a sudden there's a course that comes on your path and you feel inspired to take that course, and all of a sudden, you know, it's like whatever it is in our lives, we are all miracle workers. We are all teaching all the time, because in every moment we're either teaching that you're innocent and you're complete, that, you know, separation didn't happen, you're still at home, or you're teaching that you're guilty, you're sinful, you know, that guilt and fear is real. And to come back again to what I said all the way in the beginning, like I must have decided wrongly for I'm not at peace. You know, whenever we're not at peace, we just know like, okay, this is what I'm teaching, and I can just choose again. I'll choose like, oh, I chose for the ego. It's not like we get, oh, I chose for the ego. It's like, no, okay, I chose for the ego. I want to choose again because I want to be at peace. And I can choose again without guilt, knowing that the spirit will undo all the consequences of my wrong decision.
Wow, I mean, people expected like some really beautiful, wonderful music. They are in a, you know, that was an intensive masterclass. Sorry, for me too. And I have made so many notes. But it's like, you know, the course is just, don't, you know, what, as David, our friend and teacher says, don't go to the crystal ball. I'm just ready for the real stuff. Don't use another 20, 30 lifetimes. I'm not talking about years. I'm talking about lifetimes to learn this. I go right into what matters. So I think if you're a little bit tired right now, or if you need a glass of wine to relax after this master intensive class, I'm totally with you, because I will have a glass of wine afterwards too. I think it is so great. I learned so much, and I really would love that maybe we find another series to break some topics down. I think it is so valuable, because like me, you want to hold on. You think, oh, don't go further. What did she say there? I have to hold on to that. I really want to get that first. And then, because it is so rich. I mean, it is so rich. And this is the longest talk show I've ever done.
We can do this again whenever you feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I gave it a try, that I said per WhatsApp, you know, I will try to keep it to 45 minutes. But the minute I said this, I could hear the laughter, like, oh, forget about it.
When the spirit gets me started, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. You're just okay. So one thing that really struck me was graduation. You get the graduation is already there. Now you have pupils and students who get their graduation first, and then they start going to school to take it lighter, to take it
Yeah.
so much lighter. I think that
Yeah.
is a real
Remember to
good
laugh.
one. And remember to love. And
Remember
that's
to
not,
laugh.
we don't have to see Jesus at the cross all the time. We can have him as our best buddies also. I think
Yeah.
that is something that is really important. The unconditional love, the purpose. I really love. I really, really love what you said about you do everything. And I also said, you can use sex and money and work and beauty, everything. But what are you using it for? Are
Yeah.
you using it for filling a void? Are you using because you're guilt or you're wanting to have power or you feel unworthy and then you use money, sex, beauty, whatever? So
Yeah.
does it come from that emptiness or are you ready to fill that emptiness first? And I think that's the unconditional love because you
Mm.
go to that love inside that is already done there
Yeah, and to just
first.
notice, even
Yes.
even a step back, even if you do use sex to fill a void,
Hmm.
like can you notice it? Can you
Hmm.
notice and see it like, oh, I'm using sex to fill a void. Like
Hmm.
let's go there, let's give space to that. Like again,
Hmm.
everything in our life is helpful. All of our relationships are helpful. They're actually, especially relationships, they're a
Hmm.
fast track for healing because they tend to
Yes, they
bring up
do.
our darkness very quickly. They're
Oh, they
very
do.
powerfully skilled into pressing the
Absolutely.
right buttons to, rah! It's like, oh, I didn't know that was underneath the
Yes.
water.
And I
The
like that so
iceberg.
much. And yeah, you're so true. I mean, relationships really get to you. I always say, if you think you're enlightened, take my Michael, because then he's just, he's just so not. And I had a wonderful, sweet woman, and I said to him, "Oh, I knew already that was not the right thing, but I said to him, she is enlightened." She woke up, and he said, "Oh, I just woke up. I'm not so tired anymore." You just don't, with him, he is so on the ground with those things. And that always makes me laugh and always remembers me to get away from all those labels and just drop
Mm,
them. But
beautiful.
I highly, highly enjoyed that passionate talk. That I think that is so worth it to explore and to listen a couple of times to it. And what I like so much about, and this is why we see that things are coming at us and we take it at the moment also as an insult, as we haven't done enough, we have done something wrong, oh, so much more shit to go through, oh, this, and we try to press it down, particularly when you're in the spiritual world where you want to be a role model, and then things happen again to you because you're another layers of undoing them, of forgiving them. But I
Mm,
like so much about the way, and you're really embodying it because I can feel that you're in it, this liberation. They come us not to torture us, they come to us to liberate us. So that
yes.
we don't press them down,
Yeah.
but that we bring them up and we do
Yes.
have sex we are on a void and we think, oh, just jump into it, right? Don't feel guilty, just jump into it. And I think that is a real wonderful twist with which I like to complete this long talk, because this is so great. This is so great. And this is what we all need to remember. It is liberating to go to the cross, to take Jesus down, to give him a hand,
Yeah.
have a glass of wine with him or a beer with him, and just have a much easier journey on that. I think that is really beautiful.
Beautiful.
Would you finish and bless us again with one of your songs, which you all don't know
Yes.
what it is?
Yes, I now really do feel that the light has
Okay,
come for the end.
good.
Because it's stating again everything that we talked about, that the light has come, that it's already here, that it's not in the future. It says you are healed and you can heal. You are at peace. You are saved. So it's like it's already here. And then the chorus says, the light has come, I have forgiven the world. So this comes again to, yeah, when we forgive everything that we see, we use everything for that purpose of awakening. Then we remember that the light was already there, the light has come, that we're already cured, we're already saved, we're already at peace. The light has come. You are healed.
are such a gift. Thank you so much. I'm just in a different universe when I listen to you. It's like completely melting away from my reality. So the next album, Remembering Your Dreaming, I think it's
Remember Your Dreaming.
You're
Yes.
dreaming. So that's when I feel almost really pulled out of what I listen to you and pulled away from this dream into your world, which, in the expansive world that is one. Thank you so much. I mean, thank you so much. That turned out to be so different and so beautiful. Wherever you are, dear audience, that was do you say NEDA or NEDA? I always say NEDA, but I don't know if I pronounce that
Yeah, whatever
wrong.
is good. I always in English, I always say NEDA, and Dutch just say NEDA. So like, whatever suits you.
It's the same with my neighbor. She lives here
Oh,
since
good.
15 years. She still calls me Jasmine. And I also think when I move away, I will tell to her that I'm not Jasmine, but Janine. But now she always calls me Jasmine. You can call me whatever you want. I find this really funny.
Yeah.
So I call you my beautiful soul talk show guest for today. Thank you so much for more to come, whatever will come out of this. And
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun talking
thank
with
you
you.
so, so much. And also thank you to David Hoffmeister, to Francis, to Emily, to Zurin, to the cast and to the team of Take Me Home. That's how I got to know
Yes.
Neda. And wherever you are, dear audience, have a glass of wine, have a glass of beer, and do it with purpose. Use it with purpose.
Enjoy, enjoy.
Enjoy, enjoy. Do whatever you want to feel and just do it with purpose. Have a soulful, joyful, liberated rest of your day. Bye-bye. Until soon.